Alright, looks like we are live. A good morning. Just thought I would do a cheeky morning tea live. I started my first work meeting at 6 a.m. this morning, so I figure I can take another coffee break, which for me is a frequent occurrence because I do have a slight dependency on caffeine, but hey, we all have our vices, and I'm transparent about mine, so there you go. Anyway, just a reminder that we are doing the Whipping Disciplines Butt webinar today, so do not forget to register for that to make sure that you get your free gift if you attend in person live. If you register, you'll also get the gift because I'll email that to you later because I appreciate the time might not suit for everyone. In any case, I thought I would also continue with the blog series around myth busting some of the preconceptions or misconceptions, I guess, around self-discipline. And sort of following on from yesterday's one around, self-discipline means, that you're being stoic and all that sort of stuff. The next one is around that having self-discipline means you always maintain control in every situation. And this is particularly important for people who actually do make a conscious effort to try and put things in place so that they have more self-discipline, right? And there's a fine balance, because what will happen is that there's almost this kind of fallacy in thinking that the more discipline that we have in life, the more control we can have. And if you think about it from even just a way that we're kind of wired from a brain perspective, we actually are hardwired to have a need to create stability and security in our life, right? It was a survival mechanism. We like things to be constant. Our brain loves to surmise and predict what's going to happen and likes to put things in neat little packages, right? Unfortunately, life is never like that. And we always, want to feel like we're in full command of the world around us. And, and we like to believe that through sheer force of will, we can marshal our domination over the environment. And if you think about what we've achieved as a human race, then I think we have physical kind of representations of that just in, the way that we have our modern society set up and so on, and the infrastructure and the buildings and everything that we have. Even things to like controlling how we travel, controlling weather, all those sorts of things. So we do love to control our environment as much as possible. I guess that's the reality is, though, we never really have full control of those things. We can put things in place to try and influence it, but we never really have full command of it, right? And so simultaneously, we only really ever have control over ourselves to a degree. And so having self-discipline really means learning to control ourselves and our actions. But it comes with the caveat that no amount of self-discipline will ever give us complete control over our surroundings, and it's probably likely to drive us nuts and anyone else who's around us insane as well, right? So, self-discipline on one hand will help you maintain control, which is an important part of being able to see, self-regulating behaviour, which is some of the concepts we touched on yesterday, and obviously how you react to situations and others around you. Of course, I'm a firm believer that self-control, which is covered in the third part, by the way, because it's a 3-part motivation mastery webinar series, which is all completely free. But anyway, the concept that, your self-control is almost like a muscle, right? So you can, through reps, basically improve the strength of that muscle. And that really comes around, again, having the right structure in place and the right habits, and then being able to consistently hit those habits in a way that doesn't feel too restrictive, right? So it becomes a natural part of how you operate rather than really hard and fast rules. Because what happens if we have excessive self-discipline and we become inflexible, we tend to then, we might be good for a while, but you are going to self-sabotage at some point, or something is going to come up and that inflexibility is not going to serve you well in the moment. So when we're too stringent or too unrelenting and don't allow ourselves for any fun, the chances is that we're going to do like a binge, or we're going to do the complete opposite and we're going to self-sabotage in the ways that we typically do, or we're going to be stuck in a place where we have no room to move, and it actually impacts our ability to move forward at all with ourselves or with other people around us. So yeah, so that is today's tip. Really hope you can join us live or either the replay for the webinar today. I will be making another announcement today in this group as well. There has been some really great questions that have come through, but also just a reminder around the intent of this group and the expected behaviour of the community. So yeah, have a great Wednesday, and I'll speak to you soon.